Everyone talks about these companies. We talk with them. Welcome to Insider Talks, the show where we interview China-based professionals on hot and thought-provoking topics.
Hello everyone, welcome to Insiders Talk. Joining me today is Ada Young, International Corporate Affairs of Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo is less known than Tmall, than WeChat, and then even JD to the West, but it's massive. And the West should know more about Pinduoduo, both in terms of the volume, the GMV it's managing, and also about the models, the new models. We're talking about C2M. We're talking about one of the initiators of live streaming and making big things with live streaming. So to put it in a nutshell, Pinduoduo and Ada, you are going certainly to correct me to be more precise afterwards, but Pinduoduo for people listening to us would be close to a group buying if they are listening to from the US or from Europe, and they would compare to a group buying, but in this case more about products than the initial group one, which more about activity and restaurants and so on. And initially it started with a marketplace and then moved to group buying, and then had a very how to say, a lot of advertisement, a lot of marketing through fresh food, through agriculture, through products from the countryside. And it's still on your website. There's still an item in the menu if you go on pinduoduo.com about agriculture. So there's a lot to say about Pinduoduo and to share on how massive it is, and a massive opportunity which is unknown by foreign brands. It's the last quarter. We were talking about a GMV of 200 billion USD, which is an increase of 70% compared to 2019. The third quarter was just published. I think was published a few days ago. I mean, not less than a week.
Yeah, a few days ago, yeah.
And so
1.5 trillion RMB in GMV.
1.45
5
trillion. Yeah, trillion. We're not talking about billion anymore.
Trillion RMB.
Trillion. That's massive. And what is even more surprising, that's an increase of 73%. So that's very, very resilient to the crisis. That's very, very resilient in 2020. So there's a lot to learn about Pinduoduo. I'm so happy to have you here, Ada. How do you introduce Pinduoduo in your own words?
So first of all, thank you so much, Matthew, for having me on the show. And I think this is a great opportunity right after we announced some new initiatives and we announced our third quarter. And I think people are, just like you said, having more interest about PDD. And I wanted to take this opportunity to just give a broader introduction, an overview of what we do and the innovation behind and the new strategies. So Pinduoduo, I think for people who are not very familiar, well, the name Pinduoduo, right? And if you translate it into Chinese, it means together, more and more. So there are two mores. Together means, you know, team purchase. You on our app, you can choose to you can choose to buy individually, but at the same time, I think most of the transaction will go through a format called team purchase. So you will initiate a team with someone in your social circle and to finish the purchase. So that's, you know, you are buying things together with friends and family or people with similar interests with you. And more and more. So the first more is more savings. So if you buy it together with friends and family, then it's like a buying together, and you will be able to aggregate more demand for the merchant side, and then you will create more savings because you're getting like more bargain and more fun because we're a interactive e-commerce platform. So, you know, this type of shopping format is completely different from the traditional legacy search-based model that you have to have a very clear idea of what you really want to buy. You go on the website and you search, but on our platform, it's a browsing base. So it's like you can think of it like a Facebook feed. So every product that pushed to you is based on your preferences or your interaction with your friends and family. And then it is a discovery model. Then just like you go to a mall with your friends and family on a weekend, and you didn't really have a very clear idea of what exactly you want to buy. You just had a glance of probably like the shopping window, and you look at that, okay, oh, this might be interesting for me, and I just go in and I share it with my friends and family, and they give me advice whether this is suitable for me, whether this is the right style, and I'll probably do the same with my family and friends, and then we buy it together. So it's a very interactive shopping experience. And over the time, we had a lot of interactive features, including the live streaming and the gamification. I can talk a little bit more later on. So the other more is fun, because the shopping experience is less solitary. It's not less of a task, but it's more of a fun experience with your family and friends.
That's the thing. There's a lot to say about Pinduoduo. It's not only a group buying, and I think it was described as a group. Exactly, right? It was described as a group buying to make things simple, easy to understand, but there is a feature of group buying, but that's not only that. That's going much further, and it's a much more dynamic group buying where, in the head of people in the West, group buying is. You need a certain number of people. It's a bit confusing with flash sales. You need a certain level of people so you can activate the sale, and then you have access to the product. But there's no idea of interactive discount or interactive better offer or getting something for free if you bring a lot of people on the platform. And that's something Pinduoduo offered. It is also to get a better offer when we are more people, more offer with more people. So there is another dimension, right? That's the first element of innovation.
Yeah, and I think the whole point is to create this type of offline shopping experience, moving that online. So I think that sits at the core of the DNA of PDD, because we wanted to create something that's completely unique. Because when we were born, we were in, it was in 2015, where the e-commerce industry was already pretty established and very strong. But we noticed that was also the time where mobile internet was booming. And we were thinking about whether there's any way that we can leverage mobile and also e-commerce and to combine them together and create something that's quite unique from the legacy e-commerce model. So because of that, back then China, the mobile penetration is very high. It's very different from some other countries because, first time for a lot of Chinese populations, their first access to internet is not through PC. So they completely skipped the PC era, went straight to mobile. So everything happens around the mobile. And also mobile wallet, that was at the time, Chinese tradition during Chinese New Year, we sent red envelope. But I noticed that it was that spring festival, like the Chunwan, the gala. There was the digital red envelope game, and I felt like people started to send a red envelope through their WeChat, through a digital wallet, and then they end up having a lot of money in their digital wallet, but you really have to have somewhere to spend that money, right? So then it's like you are working in the central CBD of Beijing, or you're working in the core, like the center of Shanghai or central in Hong Kong, but you have money on your wallet, but you don't really know where to spend it. So that was the time that we feel like, okay, there should be something that we can integrate that and also e-commerce, so connected. And also it was at the time that, because of other e-commerce peers, over decades of development, it kind of, foster the growth of logistic infrastructure. So the logistic efficiency and the logistic cost is very, very, I think it was quite established and quite beneficial to the e-commerce practitioners, the merchants, so they can bear with less cost, and also the users were already able to enjoy a very cost efficient and a very seamless delivery services. So that's a little bit of background of how we were when we were born and how the whole idea started.
Yeah, because when we look at the model of group buying to end on this aspect of Pinduoduo, which is not the only aspect, and we will go through more in details the other ones, live streaming, the gamification, and the feed as Facebook, you said, serendipity, as we say, for Facebook. But the Tuangou, in China started, it was a craze for Tuangou in 2010, and Pinduoduo, Tuangou was the group buying, and Pinduoduo arrived in 2015. Actually, when the craze for this group buying disappeared, actually, there were so many group buying websites in 2010, 2011, and then suddenly they all disappeared. The main one, Penguo from Groupon, was basically merging with Tencent and focused on selling cinema tickets afterwards. So not at all the full scale of what Groupon could have done. And then you come up with a model which sounds to be similar, but actually which is adding up mobile first, and that's what you said, China is mobile first country. And secondly, a lot of interaction and ability to actually push the content with AI. That's the thing I feel you added through a feed to your friend who are alike, look alike, like Facebook is saying, like advertisement. So people who are like you.
Yeah, to just recap what you have just said, so you're completely right. When people talk about like Groupon, and that's a more service focused team, like a group buying platform. But for us, we're a team purchase, and it's a team purchase model that's very focusing on SKUs. So when you say like each page is dynamic, when you open, I'm not sure if you have opened the interface of PDD. And then when you open the page, right, like each page is dynamically personalized. And it's just like a virtual bazaar, like people can scroll and explore different products. And you didn't even expect that you would be interested in. And all the display of products were analyzed and pushed to you through the interactions that you had previously with your social network. For example, I think the first time when I used PDD, like my personal experience, I got pushed a product from my mom's sister. So she's in her 50s, and she pushed something like, how to say, a pen to me, and I was single, I didn't cook, and I was like, I wasn't really interested in that, and I didn't even open the link, and I didn't even finish the purchase. And at the same time, my high school friend, who was also like a working professional, she found something like a facial cream or something like that was very relevant to my daily life, and and she pushed it to me, and I looked through the link, and I trust her because she is in a similar profile, and I know her, and she understand the shopping habits. So because we used to be the dorm mates, so she knows me well, and then she pushed this product to me, and I'm like, okay, it's a good deal, and looks like the product like fits me well. So I click the link, we form a team to purchase the product together. And then I think over the time, because of so many other transactions and so many other interactions that I had or didn't have with my social connections, then the app will be able to analyze the preferences of the product that I like, the shopping habit, and also the price point that I'm sensitive of a certain category. So they will be able to be more accurate, be more smart about what they push to me. But it's more of a SKU focused browsing and discovery oriented shopping experience than just
It's very interesting to use the word team buying, you're saying?
Team purchase.
Team purchase.
You only need two people.
Yeah, you start
team
at two
to form
people.
a team.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Initially I was thinking it was literal translation of Tuango, and actually it's
Mm-hmm.
more than this because it's a new
Mm-hmm.
concept. It's a concept
Mm-hmm.
of being much more active than a group
Yeah.
buying. A group buying, you
Yeah.
get the offer, you reach a level, it's activated. But here in a
Yeah.
team purchase, you have to be active to get more people on the deal. So you get you get this deal, but you get even maybe a
Yeah.
better deal along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's creating much more interaction. I have a question about the interaction with your friends. How do you upload your
Mm-hmm.
friends? Does it come from your mobile, the phone number you have in your mobile? Does it come from WeChat and you add your friends from
WeChat.
WeChat? Okay.
And then WeChat and other social app, like, you can, for example, I if I can walk you through a little bit of the shopping journey. So if I visit the PDD, I see something that I like, and I can choose to individually purchase or team purchase, right? And I usually, like, I think most people would choose to team purchase, and then you can initiate a new team uh, to share this link, product link, to so many different social platforms. I think the most dominant one would be WeChat, and then you can share with QQ and then QQ Space and some other social. How to say, like, social apps, and then you can also like do 当面扫码, like you can do QR code if the person is right next to you, and you can also share the photo with the person, and then they can she can see what product this is, and you can form the team purchase. But I think the majority of the social interactions happen through the WeChat, and then the friends will receive the invitation on their social network, and if they like it, they would click it, and they confirm the team formation and they purchase together, or they can wait. Uh, for example, if I didn't see the team formation, this invitation immediately, and I will wait for 24 hours. If it doesn't get through, and this will get, like, the money will be refunded to the one who initiated the team. So over the time, we realized, okay, that is a very proactive way of form team purchase, and the social interactions only happen within that person's social network. So we also had another format, which is you can join an existing team purchase. So someone you probably don't know, but they have the similar interest of this product, and on our interface, you will see, okay, someone like Matthew, you are waiting for someone to join your Pindan, and you can join an existing team purchase, and you guys can form the team and confirm the team formation and finish purchase. What does this do? Is, I think it broadens the I think the dimension of information that you can receive, because I sometimes, maybe my immediate like friend circle or social circle doesn't really have the like urgent need of buying that product, but probably someone in another city of similar profile would be interested in buying this product with me. So why not? So we can form a team purchase and buy things together and enjoy some good deal. So it's there are two different routes, but I think right now there it's good amount of it's a good balance of what, like, the way you like people initiate it or join an existing team purchase.
I see. So to recap, it's let's say a social team purchasing where you would invite your friends to join some initiative you have in a group purchase, a team purchase all together, and it would also be shared by your contact within the app. So in a way which is built through AI, so you would not see maybe all the ads, the group buying or the team buying purchasing by other friends, but you will see the one which are relevant for you, and you would join those purchase. I understand. We understand now clearly those points. From another perspective, could we compare Pinduoduo with a Kickstarter? Do you feel that it has been used as a Kickstarter to, like Indiegogo or Kickstarter in the West, where you have a product and you need a minimum amount of sales to start creating the product or or to work with a factory? Is it something which has been used for? Or I'm over intellectualizing here.
I think it doesn't really matter because it's a SKU focused platform. So you can have as little as like one SKU in your shop. So I would say we are very open to all types of merchandise of all different categories. And in fact, on our platform, the top three categories, the daily necessities, apparel, and the fresh produce. So some of them are quite like low ticket price. So we don't really have limitation on like the price point. But I think for merchants, you have to be able to identify the who you are serving. That's quite important because this is a quite efficient model, and we wanted to. That's also that we advocate for, and that's also. I can elaborate a little bit more later about the C2M model, the rationale behind, and also how we help farmers and to better connect them and cut the middle layers. Because our platform, all we wanted to do is not just to create value for money product for our consumers, but at the same time we wanted to help merchants to make a better living. So we started with the farmers, and in China, a lot of farmers they live quite like scattered in the villages, and they have no background of running their e-commerce, absolutely no idea how to run e-commerce platform. And at the same time, they are probably like the old way. So I recall my conversation with a farmer, like how like at a wet market, they would harvest their produce, and then go through like at least like go to the township and the district and the city and so many layers of distributors, and then it arrives at the wet market or the grocery store next to my house. So the price were added like to 5 times, and at the end of the day the consumers end up paying more, and at the same time the farmers don't really get a lot of money. So we wanted to cut all these intermediary, unnecessary costs to help them make a better living. So what we do is, because we are we're a team purchase model, right? And we can aggregate a lot of very useful and valuable resources, like information on our platform. So we can help the farmers to identify, okay, when is the best time to pick your harvest, and when is the best time to probably have our logistic partner to pick it up. And then, for example, usually if you harvest for example, your apple on Tuesday, and the logistic partner get the produce, like come to pick up the produce on Thursday, and it arrives in the city on Saturday, or you have to find somewhere like warehouse or some storage, then the whole process is so long. So with our model, we will be able to identify, because okay, we know the people in the city on Monday, they know there's a good deal of apple, and we will have them pick up on Monday or like the day before, and the logistic partner will pick it up on Tuesday, and they will arrive in the city on Wednesday. So it's a quite a so we could aggregate demand through this team purchase model and guarantee a large volume orders, and then help them to eliminate the layers of distributors, and then have the product directly delivered to the consumers here in a city or in other places as well. So it's a quite efficient model. And at the same time, so I just want to write this on to talk a little bit about C2M. This is a quite big thing in China, especially after COVID. A lot of
just for people listening to us, C2M means consumer to manufacturer.
To manufacturer.
So we have, as you know, B2C B2B, and then we have the C2M. So it's a bit in the same framework, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So the whole point is we wanted to improve the supply chain efficiency. You know, China has a lot of OEMs, and especially after COVID, I realized that a lot of the foreign orders have been canceled, right? And for the longest time, these factories, they have been producing products for overseas market that adds a lot of premium. But we wanted to help them find some local domestic consumers because they have the capacity of manufacturing. They have the capacity of developing new products. But why not? But they are missing a whole rising consumption group that is like, you know, almost like 2 billion of people. Now our consumer base is over 700 million, right? So what we do is because of our team purchase model, or just like I mentioned, with all the interactions that you have, you can aggregate not just demand, but also consumer insights. So, for example, this robotic vacuum manufacturer in somewhere in China, and then they have been producing like robotic vacuum for overseas brand for a long time. And but they have also the capacity of producing something that is suitable for Chinese household. So for example, a robotic vacuum would probably cost over 1,000 if it's like with those big brands, right? But for a Chinese household, they're probably less sensitive to that price point. They're probably more sensitive to a lower cost or like a different function. Like they probably don't need a remote, they just need a very basic function, but it can work really well in a Chinese household. And probably the size will not be as the same as what they sell to overseas customers. So, but everything we can provide them is what the design you should, if you should consider, and what the price point you should price your product. And then they can tailor make products that can really sell well within a consumer group. So that's a lot more efficient model than they have excessive inventory in their warehouse and have nowhere to sell it. Because I think that is a big problem. And also this is one example. And there are a lot of heritage brands in China, right? They have been around for decades. They have really good resources, have good, like they're good quality, but their design and their product line is quite outdated. So we kind of work with them. For example, we work with some like snack company. We work with like the mosquito repellent company.
Do you have precise names to share?
We have like 六神花露水, you know, like the mosquito water. So we help them design some, because I think a lot of consumers, they're just like me. We have a good, profound memories of these products, the heritage brand. But maybe today I'm not used to bringing a glass like bottle of the mosquito water like around, and I just wanted to have something easier to carry, or I wanted, maybe I'm like, why don't you just design something like a body wash or some type of cream that still has this similar smell, but it's a different product that is easier to carry, that fits my preferences better. So we work with the 六神花露水 and also like the Phoenix bicycle, all this company, and some like a 瓜子 company, you know, like Chinese people like to eat like sunflower seeds as snacks, especially in Chinese New Year. It's a part like, and then we work with them to develop new flavor that will actually work better with, you know, younger consumers. And we work with 六神花露水 to design some new product line that fits the younger consumer better. So these are all the things that we have been doing. And, you know, I think at the big, as our next step strategy, we're going to invest quite some, a lot of resources, financial resources, research resources into the C2M consumer to manufacture efforts, and upgrade the new brand initiative as well.
That's a very interesting aspect. We mentioned at the beginning how people interact on the platform. So how they can
Mm-hmm.
build up a team, get people on the platform, buy product, and then there's the other side of Pinduoduo, which is the manufacturers, the companies, the brands on Pinduoduo, and how they
Mm-hmm.
can use the platform, interact also with you. And I have a question. When you say we work with this company, like iconic
Mm-hmm.
company, like Phoenix company that all Chinese
Mm-hmm.
would know, um,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean by work with? Is it brainstorming about what they can do? Is it bringing them data about what actually is working and to use the data to frame a new product, frame a new marketing, frame a new way of communication? Is it
Mm-hmm.
about I don't know, giving some guidelines to their agencies and working with their agencies? What is it behind the work with?
So work with is like basically we don't really feed like raw data to them. So this is not what we do. But we so for example, for the first phase of our like new brand initiative, right? We work with probably 1,000 1,500 companies to date, and we generate like 460 million orders. And how we work with them is that we would actually um, help them we will have a team of people and help them to communicate and like with the data that we have, and then come up with a plan, come up with some insights and on the preferences, consumer preferences, and and their how to say, like the shopping behavior behind, instead of just feeding them like raw data or like going through agencies. So they need to join our program. So for example, by 2025. So today we have worked with 1,500 companies, but to 2025, we're going to cover 5,000 companies, and we're going to create around 100,000 customized C2M products with them. So by working with, it's not going through agency or like going through like just providing data or information, but I think it's more about like coming up with a plan with our analytics to share with them the consumer behavior and insights.
I see. The C2M model, to make it clear, could I rephrase it as a C2 OEM instead of C2 companies? I mean, consumer to companies. I feel it's a lot about the OEM. You had this initiative with the Dongguan government recently because of the crisis to help those companies in Dongguan. Dongguan is close to Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and
Mm-hmm.
it's you have a lot of factories there which were dedicated to export, and export didn't do so well during the
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 crisis. So you had this record actually number, which you stated at 14 billion USD creation of value from those companies and those manufacturers in Dongguan. But here I feel a little bit that you are skipping one intermediary, which is basically you are going directly to the OEM. And that's
it,
also the
it's
consumer to
not
the
just the
OEM, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think China is known to be the China, like the world factory. So inevitably, a lot of them are OEMs, but we don't limit ourselves to OEMs. We also work with manufacturers. Um, you know, uh, for example, like the Fenghuang, the Phoenix bicycle, like the 六神花露水. I wouldn't say they're OEMs. They are heritage brands. They have their own brand. We're just helping them to create a new brand and a new product line that fits a different type of consumer group. So yeah, you're correct. And a lot of them are OEMs, but a lot of them are like companies or brands that has been around for a while, for decades.
I see, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So C2M would be a concept to help those brands or manufacturers to reach out to their clients through a new brand experience, through a new design with the platform. That's a concept which is brought with C2M, is
Mm-hmm.
a process which is driven
Mm-hmm.
by more marketing and more data in the go-to-market. Could we resume? Could we put it like this? Do you feel it would make sense?
I think the whole point of C2M is to better, like more tightly connected and better inform our suppliers with the
Okay.
consumer demand. Yeah, so that's the whole point. And then by doing that, we help, flow the user insights and preferences to the suppliers because of the advantage that we have on our platform, so that they can achieve better inventory planning, they can tailor-make products and lower their production costs, and also they have better pickup and delivery planning. So everything will be better, efficiently planned. And then through that, because they understand who they are talking to, who they are selling their products to, so they can more targeted on on people with common interest. So that is the whole point of the model, is to improve the shopping experience on the consumer side, but also largely improve the efficiency on the merchant manufacturer side.
I see. I have a question. If I have I'm managing a company, and I would like to work with Pinduoduo. How big do I have to be to get your attention, so you spend a bit of time to work with me, as you say? I imagine it's time consuming. You need to go through data. You need to go through understanding of a specific SKU, specific product, specific segment, how they would interact. So is it something you would do with every company? Is it something where I need to have a certain size or a certain ambition?
So our company, first of all, we don't really charge any commission. We charge like transaction fee, which is like 0.6%. And for any company, you need to pay some like a deposit, which is not a lot compared to industry peers. So we don't really, so one of our core values of our company is to open to all. And we don't really limit ourselves to, okay, you are a better merchant, you are a larger size merchant, we will treat you differently. If you look at how many farmer merchants on our platform, you will understand. They're, compared to those big luxury brands, they're like a flagship, like big. You can say they're nobody, but we are still doing our best to dedicate our resources to help them, especially, for example, during COVID, right? We help part of our the interaction that we have, like I didn't get to mention, I think it's a good time to mention it now, is so we, during COVID, that was at the time we launched the Duoduo live, Duoduo how to say, like the Duoduo live streaming.
That's true.
So people look at like Duoduo live, they always ask me, so even my friends ask me, why don't you guys have like celebrities or KOLs and stuff to sell like crazy amount of products? And your live streaming is very down to earth, but they felt like they probably like, Derek, am I missing anything? I'm like, no, this is actually how it is on our platform. So we wanted to just like provide a channel for our consumers, like how for our farmer merchants, to be able to broadcast their own content. Even we have farmers on their farm field broadcasting, like live streaming from their farm field and to the consumers. And the consumers, including myself, will be given the tour of their farmland, and I will see, okay, these are the oranges I'm gonna receive. These are the products that these are the real people. They are no fancy, they're just farmers. They can't even speak really good 普通话, but they are the real people behind it. And so, for example, during COVID, like we actually dedicated like the help farmers channel to help the farmers to we help like almost like 70,000, so 67,000 farmers to sell 1,500 metric tons of produce through live streaming. There are a lot of them, and there are also community leaders help like host the live streaming to make it more fun and to connect with the consumers, not just to sell products, but also to tell the history, the culture of the produce of that region. Like there has been a live streaming of the community leader telling you how to cook a the short rib soup, and how to pick the right, like in Xinjiang, like the date. So there are so many different ways to engage. So I think we don't really limit ourselves to just serving big ones, but I think it's more about like helping all all farmers to be able to improve their living. And this is actually one of the core priority that we have, surprisingly. Yeah.
That's very interesting actually to see that a new platform can make actually the experience, the purchasing process more authentic, more natural, with more
Authentic, yeah.
deepness. Actually through a phone, which is very contrarian in some way, to be more authentic through technology and the phone. I'd like to ask a question for our audience who is listening to us from overseas. Do you have a cross-border offering?
We do have cross-border offering. We do have Duoduo International, but for Duoduo International, I can share with you some of the video that we recently made, the step by step. We opened a Duoduo International, but I think it's doing quite well, and we have been working with the consulate of different countries, especially like the Denmark and some European countries. They have joined the program and to bring the products from their countries to our platform. So this has been going really well. And for individual merchants, so there are two ways. You can be a general merchant, but you need to have a Chinese entity to handle all the operation, and the product has to be shipped in China already.
Okay.
Or you can do it from your home country. Then that has to arrive in a tax-free, like a
free trade zone,
free trade zone. Yeah, free trade zone. Or you have to ship it as a personal parcel. But because our dashboard, everything is currently still in Chinese, so you will probably need someone who is able to read the language, handle the language, to be able to operate that. So, but we have this this cross-border e-commerce, and for more details, and I can share some of the information with you, and you can share with the audiences.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to go into more details about the economics of selling on Pinduoduo, both within mainland and for cross-border businesses. So you said the commission is 0.6%, which is very, very low compared to your peers. It's more actually similar to the commission that is taken by WeChat payment of Alipay. Actually, it's more similar to a payment structure, payment gateway structure. 0.6%. It's very, very low, even compared to PayPal.
It's quite low.
Yeah, to other ones. You have a deposit. So what are we talking about in numbers? What's the minimum deposit we have to put, and what are the parameters to know how much deposit we have to put?
For international merchants, you need to put 1,000 USD.
Okay, so 1,000 USD. Yeah. It's very reasonable. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And for if I am in mainland?
I think it varies, but I can check for you about the exact number. But it shouldn't be over a few thousand.
Okay, so that's also very competitive compared to your peers, more marketplace peers, which are more requiring about 30,000 RMB, which is about 5,000 USD. The reason of the deposit is if there is a problem with your product, the marketplace can actually take some money out of the deposit and reimburse the consumer. So that's the logic behind it. And it can go high depending on what product you sell and depending the volume you are selling.
Yeah, and also because our platform is I don't know, it's a advertisement based model. So because it's a push based model, and then it's like it's ad based. So you will need to like invest in advertisement to have your product displayed at the right consumer group of their front page, because everyone's interface looks different. So that's probably the investment that you need to make later on.
I see.
So it's 1,000 USD to make up to as deposit. I just checked.
Okay, you just confirmed with the data you have on your computer right now. Thank you for checking. I like to understand about the policy, so return policy, warehousing, unsold products if you commit for a certain volume of products. But I feel that wouldn't be the case here. Basically, the contract terms that we would sign with Pinduoduo. How much time do we need to deliver, especially for the cross border? It may take time. It's free to the manufacturer, to the brand to decide the time to deliver. What are the typical contract terms if I want to be on Pinduoduo?
In terms of the contract terms, I think we need to talk to the direct, like the operational person, to define like what your merchant, what your like what your how to say, like your services would be. But how long does it usually take to get a store to set up? You can imagine, like it's very short. It's as you can get it set up within 3 days.
Okay. Even for cross border.
Yeah, even for cross border.
Wow, this is impressive. In terms of warehousing, I understood that you don't have your own warehouses.
We don't.
Okay, so that's the brand or the manufacturer. We has to find his own, so it's very independent. Actually, I'm to share with you a story. I discussed with a brand, and they were very, very upset because what we call the TP, the Tmall partner, could not open the warehousing because it was double 11. Because it was too close to double 11, and it was entirely committed to this very big festival of Tmall, and the brand was very upset. So to manage your own warehousing makes it possible to also have a bit more power and flexibility on who you work with, and how to take sometimes some products from offline pop-up stores and so on, something you cannot always do with your TP. That's just to share with people listening to us, that managing your own warehousing could be an asset to manage your brand in China. So I understand that. Return policy, what's the return policy towards the end client if the end client finds a problem with a product?
If the end clients find a problem with the product, we have very strict penalty. We have 10 times penalty for if we find any counterfeit products on our platform. So that's why I think when you were having the pre-chat of this conversation, I read a question about what is not suitable for our platform. I would say counterfeit products, bad products are not welcome on our platform because you will face really, really harsh penalty. And we have been, I think we are one of the most strict platform in the industry because we impose so much penalty, and we will make sure that the merchants that sell counterfeits will face severe consequences.
Yeah, as a reminder, that has been a topic for a lot of marketplaces, not only in China, actually, in the West too. I was actually mentioning in terms of return policy, if the product is dysfunctional or unsatisfactory, not only about counterfeit product, but let's say the product doesn't work or the product has a bit of a problem. What's the return policies, the time people can return the product? Do you have something specific you can guide? Or I'm going to be even more specific on a topic which is a problem for apparel brands. A lot of people in China get delivered a product, try it, and then return it because they feel it's not the right size, they feel they don't like it, just because they don't want it, just wanted to try that you try in a shop. So what's the return policy when we talk about a team purchase, which is a bit of a different way of selling, and you have a discount, you have a good deal here. So is it a return policy similar?
The return. I thought it's a return policy. So the return policy. So you will be able to. So first of all, if you have to, our merchants are required to ship within 48 hours. So that's one policy. And also, if you find something that is not working, that is not functional, you will be able to return it for free with the merchant. So that's but that would Yeah, I think that's the standard. But sometimes there will be some like negotiation between the individual merchant and the consumer to identify whether that thing is qualified for return. But I think overall, it doesn't. It's pretty standard, just like any other platforms, that you will be able to return what the product that is not at your satisfactory. If there is some conflict, and our customer service will go intervene and to help resolve the problem. So because I think the core problem that you have is because it's team purchase, then you are worried, okay, if this person return, what about the other person? But sometimes, but I think when the consumer receive their product, it's just like like the merchant shipping to them, and it's like a one way. So it's not like, okay, I have to involve the person that I purchased the product with. So if I'm not satisfied with this product, and I will have every right to ask the merchant and to ask for the return and or exchange.
What about cross-border?
Cross-border, that depends on the different platform, but I think the similar policies will imply on the return policy as well, because we wanted to make sure that the merchants are serving the consumers with a good quality and a functional products. We're not tolerant of, like, if you buy a phone that is not working. So it's not okay regardless.
Got it. So 0.6% commission, I repeat, deposit of 1,000 USD, very, very, very competitive when we compare to other platforms. But you said one thing. We want to make a massive impact on the platform on Pinduoduo and reach a large audience. You need to spend on ads, advertisements. You need to spend on marketing on the platform. And indeed, when we see your quarter release, you have two streams of revenues, the commission and the revenues from online marketing services and others, and it increased by 92%. 92% increase from last year. So that means the companies are using more and more your online marketing services. That's common to Amazon. Amazon also is making more and more money with online services and actually compete now with Google and Facebook and so on. But that's a side comment.
Yeah, because a lot of merchants are willing to try. They are willing to try using the the advertisement because they wanted to reach this growing consumers. Like, I think you can say the investment that they make in advertisement is getting good return, and it just grow as fast as the consumer base. Like every quarter, when we look at the consumer, the annual active buyers, it increased by almost like 500 million or something like that. So they cannot miss out the opportunity. And in terms of the investment, I don't really know how exactly each merchant will invest in their advertisement, because it all depends on what their need is. But I think overall the trend is more merchants are more open-minded and open to try advertisement on our platform.
I'd like to understand more about the functions of advertisement. What functions do you have? We know some functions for people who are listening to us from the West on Facebook, such as lookalike. You have an audience, you have your own clients, and you would upload their data and you will find similar people. Or you have an AI, which is going to actually, with a lot of data points, see with whom it's interacting, and you may push this advertisement to people who could have more chances to interact with, which is the way Douyin is doing. You don't target that much anymore on Douyin, for instance. You give them a marketing budget. I was discussing with a very, very large advertising company, and they were saying, oh, no, we just give money to Douyin, and they take care of who to show the advertisement to. What kind of functions do you have for advertiser? Is it banners? Is it display? Is it, as said, a feed, an offer within the feed, as you mentioned, the Facebook feed?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So I just realized I haven't had the chance to touch that yet. So in terms of like the display, we have a lot of like banners. We have a different position of the interface. Some are at the front, some are like in the middle, and it's also different purposes. So that's one thing on our very direct. When you open it, it's the, you know, when you browse it and it's in the interface. And also there is another thing that is quite unique of our platform is gamification. So you we have like the games like Duoduo Orchard and Duoduo like manufacture, like Duoduo Factory and stuff like that, like Dream Factories and stuff like that. So how it works is the consumer would actually pick a product. For example, they wanted to grow a virtual tree. So they have 4 different trees, right? Like the mango tree, apple tree, pear tree, whatever tree. And they will have to spend some time on certain page or browsing certain page or initiate a team of some other people to finish the purchase of certain products. So that certain products will be on like certain pages. I think that will be you know, the advertisement. Some of them will be the advertised products. So to encourage the consumers to get their water droplet to plant the tree as fast as possible, so there are more incentive for them to browse those pages and also you know, browse the pages and also like initiate some team purchase for a certain product. And then the more water droplet they have, the easier for them to grow their tree. And in the end, they will be able to receive a free box of fruits that they grow at their doorstep. So it's through these games.
May I interrupt? So the image of the tree and droplets and so on, is it a VIP program, a loyalty program that you would?
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it, and you know, it's open on our browser. But I think the whole point is through the gamification, through the interaction, like these fun features, that on one hand we're encouraging the users to spend more time on our platform and to have more fun and more engagement. But on the other side, because they need to do something on these, you know, to get their free gift or free fruit, and then they will need to go to certain pages, and that's and I think that also was included like a part of the advertisement program.
I see. A bit more a gamification, so serendipity, and not purely banner. When we talk about banners, more specifically, how much can we target the people? I guess gender, I guess cities, I guess maybe through interest or what they bought before and so on. What are the parameters we can use to target a specific audience?
I think that question is a little bit tricky to answer, like to how many people that how many people exactly you are going to target. But I think it all depends on your product, like your specific SKU, that, you know, in general, how many like of your you know, of the targeted group of people, like how many of I think I'm not sure if the back end will be able to tell you, but in general, I think, as you know, for any users, with all the users that we have on our platform, I think there is a potential that you can reach them.
In terms of a typical price range, discount range, what are we talking about? And maybe number of units sold. Maybe this changing too much depending on which SKU it is. I went on Pinduoduo yesterday night and I browsed it, and I was surprised to see that there were cars on sale. You could even buy a car on Pinduoduo. Actually, you put a deposit of something like 30,000 RMB, and the price of the car would be 56,000 RMB. So, and it was a team purchase of 25, so not a high number. So you can even have a car. What kind of price range and discount range are expected on the platform? And maybe we will start with a discount range. What are we talking about? Are we talking about 50% discount like Groupon was doing? You know, Groupon has this cost structure. You offer 50% discount to the people and we take 50%. So basically you get only 25% at the end as a supplier.
I think in terms of the pricing and discounting strategy, it's all up to the merchant how much they're willing to subsidize or like give the discount to the customer. But we're as a platform, we don't tell them okay how much you should discount, how much you should not. We can only give them guidance of the the price range that probably your consumers will be more sensitive to, but we are not going to tell them exactly the so it's a little bit it's not a question as a platform that we can answer.
Okay, I see. We talked about cross-border. We talked about foreign businesses being on Pinduoduo. And there is a case which was very, very interesting last year, Amazon. Amazon was on Pinduoduo. Would you mind to share what you did with Amazon? And if not Amazon, because you feel it's not the best case study, what some foreign brands, international brands, which have been on Pinduoduo, some case studies you would be able to share with us?
So there has been quite a, like last year, like you said, it was a good opening of, having international authentic brands getting our platform. The whole point of our the collaboration with Amazon is to help them reach the China consumers through us, because back then we're almost like over 500 million, and at the same time, we wanted to bring more like authentic, SKUs from different countries, because we work with the Amazon UK, Amazon US, Germany, and Japan to bring like a very a wide range of products, but a lot of them are like baby and care, and also cosmetics, and also apparel. I have even bought something, and also I bought some like daily, like personal care, like toothbrush and stuff, from like the from through the collaboration with Amazon, because I think Chinese audiences, especially the rising consumers, they care a lot more about they have the consumption power, and they care about self-care and baby and mommy stuff. So we wanted to bring as much variety as we can through a very authentic channel. So that's one of the case. And we also work with, just like I mentioned before, with the like consulate of different countries. We work with Indonesia, Thailand, Denmark, Italy, Chile. For Chile, they brought some of their agricultural produce, like their cherries, to our platform, and we were working with the Argentinian chef, for imported seafood. So they also did like some. They even did some cooking show through live streaming with us in March, to bring not just the food, but also the culture behind the Argentinian red prawn, stuff like that. And also we did a live streaming with the Denmark general consulate earlier this year. So we actually didn't just do it inside the live streaming room. We actually did a street tour. We went to the busiest street of Shanghai, where there are a lot of the Danish brands, like Reigns, Pandora, and other products. So we went to the store and did a live streaming there. So we had a lot of collaboration with foreign brands, and I think there are more and more of them. And I think, yeah, this is going to be the trend, because I am part of the rising consumer group, and I think people used to care a lot about like luxury brands and stuff, but I think right now they care a lot more about quality and authentic brands from different countries. Yeah, so
that's true.
It's good.
Yeah, we see the same as Dasher Consulting. Authentic brands, designer brands, as we say in China, are gaining a momentum here. Last questions. What's next? What's next for Pinduoduo? I read Financial Times yesterday talking about a massive investment for 5.6 billion USD to take on supermarkets. We are talking a lot about live streaming. We are talking about a lot about entertainment. So we are talking about offline now, O2O. So what's next?
What's next for PDD? Two things. We have been exploring investment opportunities in agriculture tech. And since even last quarter, we have been talking about agriculture technology, implementing technology to agriculture from the precision farming to farming side to operation to like dedicated logistic resources and the food safety testing, all these type of things. And this quarter, what we just announced is like we're going to do our newest business, Duoduo and. That's why you have just mentioned a next day self-pickup grocery service. So this is going to be, because I think that after COVID, people have changed their way of shopping. A lot of the consumer goods have already had pretty good online penetration, but not grocery. Or like agriculture produce that only has like 9% of online penetration. So we see a huge potential there. So because of the first quarter of this year, the COVID-19 has pushed many households to find alternatives to buy their daily necessities. So they are even like there's a number. So we did a survey, even after all the, in China, everything seems to be back to normal, right? And more than half of the consumers in the survey, they wanted to shop for groceries or online more frequently than before. So even my mom, she has been shopping in web market her entire life, and now this time she visited me, that she has been using those, the apps to shop her daily groceries. So this is amazing how like older generation are even more open-minded. So we do see a huge potential there. So this is one thing. The grocery shopping that we're going to build the infrastructure and make sure it gets developed as fast as possible in most cities in China. And I think we just launched it in August, I think, but it has been growing really well as far as of now. We have seen I have seen like a lot of my relatives in my hometown, they have started to use the Duoduo and to do their daily shopping, grocery shopping. And then the second thing is the C2M effort. We will direct more resources and to support the brand development for OEMs, and also we're going to incubate some like new brands or sub brands or a product line be under some online, like the very old brands, heritage brands, and to support them to rejuvenate them and to reach a broader consumer. So like I just gave you some of our goal. So by 2025, we wanted to create 100,000 customized C2M products, and that's going to generate aggregate GMV of 1 trillion yuan. So, and also for like the Maitai and agriculture, we are also nurturing another 100 new farmers on the way to help them, because I think I'm not sure if I mentioned in our conversation, because we developed this co-op model to nurture and train some new farmers to go back and help their village or their area to operate the e-commerce business. We have Duoduo University to train these new farmers to help them equip with the right knowledge and skills of selling, operating e-commerce business. Then we have been doing this, and we're going to train another 100,000 new farmers to better help their the agricultural areas to accelerate the digitalization in the agricultural industry.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating because I'm thinking about what we were saying in, I don't know, 2005 about what the internet would change in our life. Like the consumers
Yeah.
would be able to advise the manufacturers, the consumers would be able to share with other consumers, and that's
Yeah.
happening. That's happening.
That is happening.
Yeah, we are seeing that. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for staying with us a bit more than 1 hour. And
Yeah.
very instructive, very useful. I think the audience will like it very much. And I encourage them to look at Pinduoduo. I see a lot of opportunities for those overseas brands. We're in China yet already, or not yet in China, to see to do some things in brand awareness and selling very specific SKU for the Chinese market. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And I can send you some of your audiences, and I had a great time talking to you. And thanks for sharing what we're doing and the mission behind. And I hope that with more people be aware of our platform, we can reach more consumers, and then we can also help more merchants to make a better living and reach more opportunities.
Thanks everyone for listening.